Yo guys, Crew Rampage here. So there's this island apparently known as North Sentinel Island. I'm gonna react to a video about it. It's basically home to the quote most isolated tribe in the world, or the last tribe that lives like the Stone Age. So I'll be reacting to it. Shout out to the Infographics Show. You guys rock. I subscribed.
North Sentinel Island lies to the west of the other Andaman Islands, in the Bay of Bengal. It's a small island with an area of only about 23 square miles. It's mostly covered by a forest that gives way to a narrow beach that encircles the island. The island is also surrounded by coral reefs and dark blue water rich with fish and other sea life. What makes North Sentinel Island different from other tropical islands is its unusual inhabitants, who we'll discuss in this episode of the Infographics Show. The untouched tribe, North Sentinel Island, walking around naked except for some leaves.
What now? They're still barely naked? Like they're Adam and Eve? Didn't think they were that isolated. Didn't think they were, you know what I mean? But still, I'm impressed that they've been like this for so long.
String fibers and other decorations. The indigenous people of North Sentinel Island, the Sentinelese, have lived in almost complete isolation from the rest of the world for nearly 60,000 years.
Really? Since antiquity? That's unbelievable.
According to a documentary about North Sentinel Island, they are thought to be direct descendants of the first humans who emerged from Africa. They have been isolated for so long that the language they speak has been forgotten by the rest of the world. Another concern is that their extreme isolation has made them vulnerable to modern-day diseases.
This is a good reason why we shouldn't visit them and just keep them isolated, because their civilization may crumble if we go to them, because we are immune to diseases like smallpox.
They do not have immunity to them and could become seriously ill or even die as a result of being exposed to them. Although modern civilization is only about 31 miles away at the city of Port Blair, the Sentinelese lag far behind modern times. They do not even know how to make fire.
Dang. I didn't think they were that far behind. Wow, they're living like it's a Paleolithic era. I thought that meant like the Mesolithic era or the Neolithic era. This really is the last tribe that lives like it's the Paleolithic era, for sure.
The only time that they have fire is when it's produced spontaneously, according to one article, such as when lightning strikes a tree. The Sentinelese have no knowledge of agriculture. They live off the land and the sea, hunting, fishing, and collecting wild plants. They also eat coconuts that wash up on the shore. They use simple tools such as harpoons, flatbows, and arrows, not only to hunt for food, but also to safeguard their isolation. The Sentinelese isolate themselves by choice.
Oh, so that's why they were isolated for so long. Like, they chose to be isolated? It's kind of ironic, but okay.
They have a long history of using violence to drive outsiders away from their island home. Over the years, nearly everyone who has ventured too close or landed on North Sentinel Island has been attacked or killed by the Sentinelese.
They're that protective of their homes? Didn't think they would guard their homes so well.
Most of them suffered these negative outcomes whether their visits to the island were accidental or intentional. For instance, in 1896, one unlucky Indian convict survived a dangerous prison escape from Port Blair, only to be killed by the Sentinelese shortly after landing on their beach.
That's rough, buddy.
That's rough. Yeah, poor prisoner. Feel bad for him.
According to one source, a British party recovered his body and found that the convict was pierced in several places by arrows and his throat was cut.
The Sentinelese are fierce warriors. And yeah, it was very sad, but kind of predictable at the same time.
In 1974, a team of anthropologists trying to film a documentary, a National Geographic photographer, and some police officers were greeted by a shower of arrows from the Sentinelese. One of the arrows hit the director of the documentary in the left thigh.
Ouch. Ouch. That's got to hurt. Hope he survived. He probably did.
In 1981, crew members of the cargo ship MTV Primrose were attacked by the Sentinelese after their ship became stranded on the reef surrounding the island. They had to fight the Sentinelese with flare guns, axes, and lengths of pipe in order to live long enough to be rescued a week later. The only friendly encounter outsiders had with the Sentinelese.
Wait a minute. They had friendly contact? Although the tribes killed to get people out of their island? That's kind of ironic. And if they're still here today, I mean, what about the diseases?
Occurred in January 1991 when an Indian contact expedition visited the island. There's some video footage of members of the expedition presenting the Sentinelese with gifts of coconuts thrown into the water, which the tribespeople quickly gathered. There's also video footage showing some smiling Sentinelese interacting with members of the expedition and even touching them out of curiosity. Unfortunately, this one encounter turned out to be more like a truce
Now it makes sense.
rather than an end to the isolated tribe's war with outsiders. Later visits to the island were met with the usual hostile greetings of weapons drawn.
I mean, the most recent death as of now is this American guy, John Allen. He went to Sentinel Island and then he got shot and killed by the Sentinelese. I heard he was eaten as well, but I don't believe that.
Or arrows fired. The last encounter occurred in 2006. Two fishermen drifted too close to the island, and the Sentinelese killed them and buried them in shallow graves. Authorities attempted to recover the bodies of the fishermen, but were unsuccessful because of what one source calls a customary hail of arrows. They ended up leaving the bodies there and leaving the Sentinelese to live in peace.
So the people that were recovering the bodies didn't die? I mean, it sounds believable considering that one crew survived for a week.
Like the other Andaman Islands, North Sentinel Island is under the jurisdiction of the Indian government. Over the years, India has allowed the Sentinelese to manage their own affairs with minimal government intrusion. In 1991, it placed a 3-mile exclusion zone around North Sentinel Island to keep outsiders such as tourists and poachers away from it. Will these isolated tribespeople, whose estimated population ranges from 15 to 500, be wiped out because tourists will expose them to diseases that they have no immunity to? Only time will tell.
Okay, so that's it for the video. Overall, I think the Sentinelese is pretty scary and no one should ever go there. Not only because they're probably they're gonna kill you, but also because you're gonna end them because of the diseases that you carry. Well, you're immune to them, but they aren't. So I think the Sentinelese is just a group that should be left alone for as long as we can. And overall, this was kind of a scary story considering everyone who went too close to the island, except for that one crew in 1991, died. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Shout out to Infographics Show. Like and subscribe to both of us.